Hey everybody, Liberty Music Ray here. Just doing a long form review today of Metal Gear Solid Delta. I just kind of want to, do this review, give it a fair shake. I don't know if any of y'all know this, but I am actually a very big fan of Metal Gear Solid in general. Um, I've played this game ever since I was a kid. The first one I got into was on the PlayStation. That was my first experience. I know there was two others before that were like Nintendo, Super Nintendo. I am not counting those games a part of the franchise that I'm speaking about. And most of the reason is because even though I played them, they weren't really like the thing that defined the industry as much as it was with the first PlayStation 1 game, right? So when you're looking at Metal Gear Solid as a genre, um, Metal Gear Solid Tactical Espionage is kind of where it started. Nobody really gave two craps about the Nintendo versions, and I can say that with confidence. I mean, everybody that I've ever talked to who's like a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid, I've talked to them about the Nintendo ones. Everybody's just like, whatever. Like, I don't really care. Like, yeah, sure. There was a brief mention, I think, of uh, Raiden in the old Nintendo ones, but um, they're not really a big deal. Like, they don't really, they're not like important contextually to the Metal Gear Solid lore. Even the comic books, like, they don't even really talk about anything that happened in that entire piece. So, um, but yeah, like I was saying, when it comes to the first Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation, uh, you know, back in the day, like me and my friend, this was hell, probably even middle school era. I would say we would get out of school and then we would race home and see if who could beat Metal Gear Solid Tactical Espionage the quickest. And anyways, my buddy, he got it down to a little over an hour. I think it was like an hour and like 2 minutes or something like that. He was really good at this game. And anyways, we both had a lot of fun with this game. This is a really good game, really fun. Um, in terms of like what it was genre wise and how it played and everything. If I had to score the originals, like I'm talking the original for PS1, PS2, PS3, um, I would give most of these games a 10 out of 10. They're just amazing games. Um, and now I guess I'm gonna get into a bit of like this game in and of itself, which is Metal Gear Solid Delta. And you're gonna kind of be like you're gonna be like, well, that doesn't really make any sense if you're saying Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eaters 10 out of 10. Maybe maybe the score I'm about to give it doesn't make sense, right? Because essentially when it comes to Metal Gear Solid Delta, that's what this game is it's Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, which is the third game, right? And the issue that I have with this game is that this game is essentially just a completely reskin version of the original Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3, right? And when I say that, I mean like exactly the same. Like the levels. So you have to understand, like way back in the day, right? Like when it comes to PS1, PS2, there's like a limited amount of information you can fit on a disc, right? So whenever you had to load into an area, and you also had a very small amount of system RAM, right? So whenever you had like a level, you were very limited by what you can do, right? Like you couldn't have these like large grand levels. You had to have it to where like you walk through a door and then you hit a loading screen and then there's another level, right? Um, and unfortunately for this game, still designed the same way. It's designed in that same way. They up the cap of the RAM and all that, obviously, for the textures and everything else. But when it comes to the game itself, um, what you're staring at is like a carbon copy of the original, right? The only differences are textures, aesthetics, and also the point of view of the character. Like the traditional for this game is like top down third person. And then also you would use like L1 to go into like a first person perspective. Now that 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 works in the original, but in this game they also have an additional mode where they give you kind of this like over the shoulder POV of Snake, and it's very similar to the um, Metal Gear Solid 5, like how that looked, where it's like over the shoulder and everything, and it's very clean and crisp. Oh, in this scene right here, you'll notice something too. The wireframe models that they used for like those old '90s like mocap suits, you can tell that that's kind of what they're using. Still, is the motion models from back then because like the posturing of the characters is very like like the posturing of Snake here, like the way that his body is and how it moves, it's very rigid, and that's usually because of that. So, I mean, you can loosen it up a little bit, but I don't know what they're using to make these models. So, for the visuals, um, but like in terms of mocap, it's like you could tell it's still very rigid. Uh, but yeah, like I was saying too. So, part of what they're doing is they're talking about all this, um, like redoing all of this the visuals and everything else in the game, and it's good. It's good that they did this, but if you had to ask me, is this worth $69.99, which was the launch price of this game? That's going to be a big fat hell no for me. Um, like just upgrading the visuals and the aesthetic of this game is not enough to justify charging $69.99 for this game. Um, Now, for me, I waited years, right? So, um, or a year, or I don't know, maybe less. I don't know. It didn't seem like this game really sold well. Um, I heard about it when it came out, but I just kind of ignored it, and I didn't really want to like hop on it just yet because I was kind of busy with other things. Still learning like new DAWs and stuff like that. I just didn't really have the bandwidth for this game. So, but when you're looking at this game, here's the thing that you have to keep into consideration, right? Is literally the only thing that's being upgraded here are the textures, and then they're asking you for full price of the game, right? The levels are still the same, everything's still the same. Um, Even the way the weapons operate. I don't know. I feel like they messed with the drop a little bit on some of the weapons, like the trank gun feels like it's got a little bit extra drop to it for some reason. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm not remembering it right, but it feels that way. Um, Now, like I said, I mean, when it comes down to this game, I don't really have any problems with it, but I overall for what this is and for what they're asking price wise, I'm just gonna give this game like a 5 out of 10 because it's not worth what they're asking. Like if you showed me the original like in the store in the Steam store, like in the Master Collection, like okay, if you went to the Steam Master Collection and you yanked Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater and then you shoved this into that Master Collection and then you gave me like the other games like 1 and 2 and then the Nintendo games, and you gave all of that to me in one package, and then you were like, "Yeah, this is 69.99 or whatever," I'd be like, "Okay, I can understand that. Like that's you're giving me a good value, right?" Um, but that's not what's happening here. They're charging you 69.99 for just Metal Gear Delta. That's it, and then they're kind of expecting like, oh, well, okay, well, you're gonna get the deluxe edition skins, and oh, and that's another thing too. In the game, used to back in the day, there was a very rigid set of like prerequisites that you had to meet in order to unlock the gold skin. And in this game, you can literally just download the deluxe edition and get their like 15.99 skin pack and get the gold skin, which is ridiculous in my opinion. Because if you ever wanted to know who like an OG gamer was back in the day, ask them if they had the gold skin for Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, right? Um, that was kind of like a big deal. Like if you had that, it was like holy shit, like this guy really spent a lot of time playing that game. You know what I mean? Because if I remember correctly, I think you had to beat the entire game on stealth, and you couldn't kill anybody. Like even just the regular soldiers, the dogs. You had to stealth your way through the entire game from start to finish. And I don't remember if it was no alerts too. It may have been no alerts as well. But yeah, I remember in order to get the gold skin, you had to do all of that, and you had to collect all of the toads and the bobbleheads. So yeah, it was kind of a lot. But anyways, so yeah, I'm just when it comes to this game, I'm just not convinced that this is worth 69.99. There's a lot of little things that kind of bother me about like this game and the way that they released it. It just doesn't really seem it's weird because like at the beginning of the game when they launched the game, Hideo Kojima, his name's like all over everything. And then when the game ends, it's like you can't even find his name on the product, right? It's like they wanted to use his name for marketing purposes, but then at the end of the game, when the game's over and the credits roll, they're just like, well, he really didn't have anything to do with this version of the game, so they didn't bother putting his name in the credits, right? Um, and I mean, I let the credits roll for kind of a while. You know what I mean? But anyways, like I said, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like this game's not really worth it for that kind of a price. Like I said, if it goes on sale and it's like 29.99 or something, like okay, I guess. But um, ultimately, like really, like they should have just stuffed Delta into the Master Collection and then just called it a day from there. Because what they did, I mean, it just this feels like just like a cash grab, just a really crappy, really shitty cash grab. Like it just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. So, and I think Konami is just. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. Like what Konami's doing. Uh, they already have like gambling machines. Like if you go look in Vegas, like they have like the Metal Gear Solid like pachinko machines and stuff like that. And this is another one of those things where it feels like they're just uh selling off the IP as like a piece of nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like they're just breaking it up into as many pieces of nostalgia as they can to maximize the amount of money they can get out of it. So yeah, again, I can't bring myself to justify the full price of this. The Master Collection Volume 1 seems like it's a better deal. And then the Master Collection Volume 2 seems like an okay deal as well. Although I will say with the caveat that it is a little high for just two games, right? Like I said, if you came at me and you were like, I don't know, you just did like a Metal Gear Solid collection with everything like in the games, all the games together in one big giant bundle, including Metal Gear Solid 5. Um, and then you just like slapped $100 price tag on it. Like I could see that, right? Like I'd be like, yeah, that's a fair price for all the Metal Gear Solid games thrown onto Steam under one thing. Like yeah, I could see that. $100, that makes sense. That's a fair deal. But this, no, not so much. I don't agree. I think this is just a like a shameless cash grab. Um, but like I said, I think I'm going to try to look at seeing about maybe nabbing Death Stranding 2 on the next Steam sale. If it drops to a good price, I might grab it. I don't know. Is it still on my wish list? Might be. Yes, it is. It is still on my wish list. So I'll take a look at it. Like if it drops down to a good sale price, um, and then see about giving that a go. Because I really enjoyed the first game, but I've been kind of holding off on it because, you know, um, I don't know. It's just last time I looked at it, it just kind of came out, and I was like, well, I'll wait for them to iron the bugs out and all that stuff, and you know. Anyways, I just never really got around to it, so we'll wait and see. So maybe next year or whatever. But yeah, in terms of this game, like I said, it's a 5 out of 10. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're just like a super Metal Gear Solid fan and you just have to play it, right? Um, but outside of that, I wouldn't recommend grabbing this one unless it's on sale and it's like 29.99 or something. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, I'm gonna leave the video there. Hopefully you guys found the video informative. Um, hopefully y'all like the video, and hopefully I will see y'all in the next one. So y'all take it easy and have a great week.